Shalom, my friends. Today we will open a book that has been sealed for too long. We will uncover a forgotten Hebrew prayer, a specific two-word incantation from the prophet Jeremiah that has the power to heal. Not just the body, but the mind, the heart, and yes, even your finances. This is not a prayer of begging. It is a prayer of activation. It is a divine technology that aligns you with the source of all healing and makes you a vessel for its flow. By the end of this video, you will understand the profound, mystical secret behind this prayer, and you will be able to use it to bring healing into every area of your life that feels broken. But first, I want you to answer this question in the comments below. In what area of your life do you need healing the most right now? Is it your health, your relationships, your bank account, your peace of mind? Be honest. Naming the wound is the first step to healing it. And as you share your heart, I invite you to join this community of spiritual healers and builders. We are gathering an army, 50,000 strong, of souls who are ready to access the ancient technologies of our faith to create lives of wholeness and abundance. If you are one of us, your first act of commitment is to hit that subscribe button. It is a declaration that you are ready to be made whole. And for those who are ready to go from a single prayer to a complete system of spiritual mastery, the Torah Millionaire Business School is waiting for you. This is my life's work, a comprehensive course where I reveal the complete Torah wealth system, the 3,000-year-old Jewish money laws that have built dynasties. It is only $299, and enrollment is closing very soon. The link is in the comments. This is your invitation to the inner chamber of wisdom. All right, let's talk about healing. The modern world has separated healing into 1,000 different specialties. You have a doctor for your body, a therapist for your mind, a financial advisor for your money. The Torah teaches a much deeper truth. The Torah teaches that all brokenness comes from one source, a disconnection from the divine, and therefore all healing comes from one source, a reconnection to the divine. The Hebrew word for healing is refuah. It comes from the same root as the word rophe, which means a doctor, but also from the word rafu, which means to loosen, to release. True healing is not about adding something to you. It is about releasing the blockages that are preventing the natural flow of divine life force, of chayut, from animating every part of your being. This brings us to the forgotten prayer. It is found in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 17, verse 14. It is breathtakingly simple, yet infinitely profound. The prophet cries out to God with just two powerful phrases. Rofemi Adonai ve'erafeh, Hoshieni ve'ivashea. Heal me, O Lord, and I shall be healed. Save me, and I shall be saved. Let's dissect this divine technology. It is not a request. It is a declaration of partnership. It is a statement of absolute faith in the mechanics of spiritual reality. The first part. Rofeni Adonai ve'erafeh. Heal me, O Lord, and I shall be healed. Look at the structure. It is not, please heal me and I hope I get better. It is a two-part formula. Part 1. Rofeni Adonai. Heal me, O Lord. This is the human action. This is our job. We have to turn to God. We have to acknowledge that we are not the source of our own healing. We have to surrender our ego, our pride, our belief that we can fix ourselves. We have to open the channel. That is our part of the equation. Part 2. The Erafeh, and I shall be healed. This is not a hope, it is a certainty. It is the divine reaction. The Hebrew grammar here is a future tense that implies an inevitable consequence. It is like saying, if I drop this stone, it will fall. It is a law of spiritual physics. When a human being genuinely turns to the source of all healing and asks to be healed, the result is healing. It is not a question of if, it is only a question of when and how. This prayer forces you to abandon the victim mindset. The victim says, "Why am I sick? Why am I broke? Why am I alone?" The spiritual warrior says, "Rofeni Adonai, God, I am turning to you as the source of my healing." The prayer is an act of taking responsibility for your side of the divine-human partnership. You do your part, which is to turn to God, and God does His part, which is to send the healing. This is the secret that King Hezekiah, one of the great kings of Judah, understood. The prophet Isaiah came to him and told him he was going to die. A death sentence from a prophet. What did Hezekiah do? He did not despair. He did not curse his fate. The Talmud tells us he literally turned his face to the wall and prayed. He turned away from the world, from the doctors, from the natural order, and he turned directly to God. He said, "I have a tradition from the house of my father's father, King David, that even if a sharp sword rests upon a man's neck, he should not prevent himself from praying for mercy." Hezekiah understood the principle of Rofeni Adonai. He did his part. He turned to God. And what happened? God told Isaiah to go back and tell him that he had added 15 years to his life. Hezekiah activated a law of the universe that superseded the prophet's decree. Now, let's look at the second half of the prayer. Hoshe'eni ve'ivashe'ah. Save me, and I shall be saved. If the first part, refuah, is about healing what is broken inside of you, the second part, Yeshua, salvation, is about being rescued from external threats. This is healing for your circumstances. This is for when you are drowning in debt, when you are surrounded by enemies in your business, when you are trapped in a toxic relationship. It is the prayer for deliverance. And again, look at the structure. Hoshieni, save me. This is your part. You have to cry out for help. You have to admit that you cannot save yourself. You have to stop trying to fight your way out of the prison and instead ask the warden to open the door. And the result? Vivashea, and I shall be saved. It is an inevitability. When you call, he answers.
It is a promise woven into the fabric of creation. This is the secret of the Israelites at the Red Sea. They were trapped. The Egyptian army was behind them. The sea was in front of them. There was no escape. They were doomed. And what did they do? They cried out to God. They did their part. They activated the Hoshieni principle. And God did his part. He split the sea. He did not just save them, he created a new reality for them. He made a path where there was no path. This is what happens when you stop trying to save yourself and you allow yourself to be saved. Let me go deeper into the mystical mechanics of this prayer. In Kabbalah, we teach that there are 4 levels of the soul: Nefesh, the animal soul; Ruach, the spirit; Neshama, the higher soul; and Chaya, the living essence. When we experience brokenness, whether it is physical illness, emotional trauma, or financial lack, it is a sign that one or more of these levels has been damaged or disconnected from its divine source. The prayer Rofeini Adonai is a prayer for the restoration of all 4 levels. It is a prayer to reconnect the entire system to the infinite power of God. The Zohar teaches that every illness, every problem, has a spiritual root. Physical illness is often a manifestation of spiritual blockage. Financial lack is often a manifestation of a blocked channel of Shefa, divine abundance. Relationship problems are often a manifestation of disconnection from the divine attribute of Chesed, loving kindness. When you pray Rofeini Adonai, you are not just asking God to fix the symptom. You are asking him to heal the root. You are asking him to restore the flow of divine energy at every level of your being. This is why the prayer is so powerful. It is holistic. It addresses the entire system. There is also a profound connection between this prayer and the name of God that is used. The prayer says, Rofeini Adonai, which uses the name Adonai, the name that represents God as the Master, the Lord, the one who has dominion over all reality. When you invoke this name in the context of healing, you are acknowledging that God has the power to override the natural order. You are saying, you are not bound by the laws of nature. You created those laws, and you can change them. This is the faith of miracles. This is the faith that says, even if the doctor says there is no hope, even if the accountant says I am bankrupt, even if the world says it is impossible, I know that you, Adonai, have the final word. So how do we apply this forgotten prayer in our lives today? I want to give you a 3-step framework. Call it the Jeremiah Protocol. Step 1. Identify the brokenness. You cannot heal a wound you refuse to see. You must be brutally honest with yourself. Where are you broken? Where do you need saving? Take out a piece of paper. Create 2 columns. On the left, write Refuah, healing. On the right, write Yeshua, salvation. Under the Refuah column, list all the internal areas where you feel broken. Your health, your anxieties, your limiting beliefs, your emotional wounds. Under the Yeshua column, list all the external circumstances from which you need to be saved. Your debt, your failing business, your toxic job, your difficult relationships. Do not sugarcoat it. Be specific. This is your prayer list. Step 2. Activate the prayer. This is not a passive meditation. This is an active declaration. Find a quiet place. Read your list. Feel the pain of your brokenness. And then, with all the energy you can muster, you cry out the prayer. For each item on your refuah list, you say, Rofeni Adonai ve'erafeh. Heal me, O Lord, and I shall be healed. And for each item on your Yeshua list, you say, Hoshieni ve'ivashea. Save me, and I shall be saved. Say it with conviction. Say it with faith. Say it like you know it is a law of the universe. You are not begging. You are invoking. You are reminding God of His own promise. Step 3. Listen for the instructions. Healing and salvation are not always passive. Often, when you ask God to heal you, He will give you an instruction. He will tell you to change your diet, to start exercising, to forgive someone, to make a phone call, to start a new business. The healing comes through your obedience to the instruction. After you pray, you must listen. Pay attention to the ideas that come into your mind, the opportunities that cross your path, the quiet whispers of your soul. This is God's part of the conversation. He is telling you how He is going to heal you. Your job is to listen and obey. The Talmud teaches that the great sage Rabbi Hanina ben Dosa could pray for the sick and know immediately if they would be healed. How? He said, "If my prayer is fluent in my mouth, I know it is accepted." This means that when the prayer flows, when it feels right, when it is aligned with divine will, the channel is open. After you pray, look for that feeling of flow, of rightness. That is your sign that the healing has begun. I want to share a personal story. Years ago, I was in a deep financial crisis. My business was failing, I was deep in debt, and I saw no way out. I was in the land of Mitzrayim, the narrow place. I prayed, I worked, I struggled, but nothing changed. One night, in desperation, I opened the book of Jeremiah, and I found this verse. And I decided to try it. I made my list, and my Yeshua list was long. I cried out the prayer, Hoshieni ve'ivashea. And then I listened, and a thought came into my mind, clear as a bell. Stop selling. Start serving. At the time, I was so
focused on making money, on closing deals, on getting clients. The voice told me to shift my entire focus, to forget about what I could get, and focus only on what I could give. The next day, I called my biggest client, the one I was most desperate to keep, and I said, I am not going to ask you for any more business. For the next 30 days, I am going to work for you for free. I am going to solve your biggest problem, and I am not going to charge you a penny. He was shocked, but he agreed. For 30 days, I poured my heart and soul into serving him. And at the end of the 30 days, he not only gave me a contract that was 10 times bigger than anything I had ever had before, but he referred me to 3 other clients of the same caliber. My financial situation was transformed, seemingly overnight. But it was not overnight. It was the result of a prayer, an instruction, and an act of obedience. I asked to be saved, and God told me how. This is the pattern of divine healing and salvation. You pray, you listen, you obey, and the result is transformation. The Talmud teaches a profound principle. Lefum tsa'ara agra. According to the pain is the reward. The greater the brokenness, the greater the potential for healing. The deeper the crisis, the more profound the salvation. God does not waste your suffering. He uses it as the raw material for your transformation. When you are in the narrow place, in Mitzrayim, you are being prepared for the exodus, for the breakthrough. The pressure is not there to destroy you. It is there to refine you, to force you to turn to God, to activate the Rofeni Adonai principle. Let me give you another powerful example from the Torah. When Miriam, the sister of Moses, was struck with leprosy as a punishment for speaking against Moses, Moses did not give a long, elaborate prayer. He cried out 5 simple words in Hebrew. El na refa na la. God, please heal her, please. And God heard him. The healing did not come instantly. She had to be quarantined for 7 days. But the healing came. What is the lesson? The power of the prayer is not in its length or its eloquence. It is in its sincerity, its simplicity, and its faith. Moses knew that God was the healer. He did not try to manipulate God with fancy words. He simply asked with all his heart, and God responded. This is the same principle in Rofeni Adonai. You do not need to be a scholar. You do not need to know all the mystical secrets. You just need to turn to God with a sincere heart and say, "Heal me, O Lord, and I shall be healed." The power is in the turning, in the surrender, in the faith. There is one more layer I want to share with you, and this is perhaps the most practical. The prayer Rofeni Adonai is not just for when you are sick or in crisis. It is a daily prayer. It is a preventative medicine. In the traditional Jewish prayer service, we recite a prayer every morning called the Amidah, the standing prayer. And right in the middle of it, there is blessing for healing. It says, Refa'enu Adonai v'nerafeh. Heal us, O Lord, and we shall be healed. This is the same formula as Jeremiah's prayer. Why do we pray this every single day, even when we are healthy? Because we understand that health is not a static state. It is a dynamic flow. Every day we are exposed to spiritual and physical toxins. Every day we need to be reconnected to the source of healing. The daily recitation of this prayer is like a spiritual immune system. It keeps the channels open. It keeps the flow of chayut, of divine life force, moving through us. Let me give you a specific practice you can implement immediately. I call it the healing breath. Every morning when you wake up, before you get out of bed, place your hand over your heart. take a deep breath in. And as you breathe in, say silently in your mind, Raphaeni Adonai. Heal me, O Lord. Hold the breath for a moment, and as you breathe out, say, the Rapha, and I shall be healed. Do this 3 times. Breathe in, Raphaeni Adonai. Breathe out, the Rapha. This simple practice aligns your breath, which is your life force, with the prayer, which is your spiritual intention. It is a powerful way to start your day connected to the source of all healing. And throughout the day, whenever you feel stress, anxiety, pain, or fear, return to the healing breath. It is a portable, instant technology for reconnecting to God. There is also a powerful tradition in Judaism of praying for others. When you pray for someone else's healing, you are not just helping them. You are also opening your own channels of healing. The Talmud teaches that when you pray for someone who needs the same thing you need, you are answered first. This is a profound spiritual law. When you move beyond your own pain and you intercede for another, you demonstrate to God that you are not operating from scarcity. You are operating from abundance. You are saying, there is enough healing for both of us. And God responds to that consciousness by giving you what you need. So, make a list of people in your life who need healing. And every day, after you pray for yourself, pray for them. Say their names. Say, Raphaeni Adonai et V'yerafeh. Heal, O Lord, and may they be healed. This practice will not only bless them, it will bless you. I encourage you to make this prayer a part of your daily routine. Every morning, before you check your phone, before you engage with the world, stand before God and say, Raphaeni Adonai V'erafeh, Hoshi'eni V'ivashea. Heal me, O Lord, and I shall be healed. Save me, and I shall be saved. Say it for your body, for your mind, for your finances, for your relationships. Say it with faith. And then go into your day knowing that you are connected to the source of all healing and all salvation. You are not alone. You are not abandoned. You are held by the one who created you, and he is committed to your wholeness. Let me leave you with one final thought. The verse in Jeremiah ends with a powerful statement. After saying, Heal me, O Lord, and I shall be healed. Save me, and I shall be saved. Jeremiah adds, Ki teilati ata, for you are my praise.